Hey, welcome back to the Radical Care for Christian Counselors podcast. And I'm so excited you're here for week 3 of our group building series. And I always start with this reminder, well, 2 actually. Number 1, you can get all of these tips, all of these steps from the free booklet that I have already, workbook, sorry, that I already have on my website. It's bethanyboring.com is the links page. And all you have to do is put your name and email and you'll get it free. And so you can even follow along with the podcast as we go through each step each week. And some people are, which is so cool. I love that. Some people have literally downloaded it and are with their group or with their brainstorming group or with their kids. I love this. Doing something with their kids. I thought about this week. I'm like, it's week 3 and I haven't thought of a project that I can do with my kids. I probably need to do that. And so any kind of project, any kind of group that you've got right now, you can use these steps for. So go do it. And if you take one step a week, you'd be amazed at how far you can go and actually get your group launched in 7 weeks. How cool is that? And we can do it together. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're part of this. And another thing is, as you probably already heard, this can be used for any group, any kind of purpose. And so you could be a parent trying to do something with your kids. We've got a mission team, 2 mission teams that are doing this for their mission organization. We have churches, we have organizations, we have coaches, we have mental health professionals, we have counselors. And yes, here at Step Out and Thrive, I focus mainly on Christian counselors, mental health professionals, and pastoral care leaders who want to really connect deeply in small groups, but not only learn in small groups or be transformed in those small groups, but take the resources and the community application resources and encouragement from that experience and actually have their own support groups so that they can actually fill up so they can pour out. And so many people are trying to do it by themselves and you can't. And so, with that being said, that is the whole emphasis for Step Out and Thrive. So, groups are at the center, at the heartbeat of literally everything I do. So, a lot of times I have so many people coming to me with group related questions. And I'm like, what can I create that's really easy, just step by step guide? Thus, here we are. And so, if you're doing this with us, it's an awesome opportunity to really brainstorm for your group, no matter what it is. And so, we're on week 3. We've already touched on the purpose, week 1. We've already talked about guidelines, which was week 2. And here we are in week 3. And week 3 seems like an obvious, but so many people miss it. And I think what happens is we kind of have the George Mueller approach, right? We get so excited. Like, if you don't know the story about George Mueller, oh my goodness, I found myself in high school. I don't remember the whole situation, but I found myself at reading one of the books about his life. And I was just so captivated by it, his passion for these orphans and be able to get them off the street and just everything he did and how God provided. It was just so amazing. But if you get deep into the story, and some of you guys already know this part, is that he went and he got this idea about starting this orphanage. He was so excited. He had the place actually gifted, I believe, to him. And then he had just so many resources and even staff. I mean, he had all this work planned out. And then the day arrived and he even had the announcement in the newspaper and all this kind of stuff. You guys, he didn't pray for the orphans. He didn't pray for anybody to actually come. And so when he had that opening day, nobody was there. Nobody came. Nobody showed up. And what he came back to realize is like, oh my goodness, we prayed for all of these provisions, but we didn't pray for the actual kids that we wanted to fill our orphanage with. And so he went back and he spent some time fasting and praying specifically for the kids. And the next time he launched, of course, there were kids there, but he also talks about the relationships that he built in that time as well. He wasn't focusing on all this prep work that was already done. He spent his time connecting and praying for the right kids, the people that God has already orchestrated to be part of his orphanages. You know, when we're building our groups, when we're building our projects, we oftentimes do the same exact thing. And I know it, and I've done it. I'm guilty as charged. I've done it as well, especially in the ministry standpoint, right? We plan this event. We know it's going to be great. We work on the resources. We get the volunteers, but then we forget to really tell those that we want to the event to actually come and be part of it. We forget about those relationships that we have to build. And so many times we have this idea that, oh, well, I'll just put a Facebook post about it, or I'll just have it be in an announcements at my church. And then all of a sudden people just magically show up. And if that worked, that would be done on occasion on a lot more basis. Now, yes, sometimes you can have a pastor use it as part of a message and you'll get more people out of it that way. But a lot of times we have to hear things at least 5 times. And they're saying that number is even going up nowadays because we're being so inundated with so many different things. Okay. So we have to be personally invited to something at least 5 different times in order for it to even be in our recollection of things that we need to do or that we should consider doing. So with that information alone, we should know that yes, we take time in the purpose, and yes, we take time with the guidelines, and we take the prep work, right? But then we really need to spend a lot of time first in prayer, and prayer for the very people that we want to be involved in our group, that people that we want to be involved in our project. And I think this almost goes 2 ways. One, I'm praying for those people that, yes, are going to be benefited from my group. But number two, I'm also praying for people to walk alongside of me, walk alongside of my group members during this time, because my group specifically, they go deep, and they often include a lot more deeper work than even my people realize when they first sign up for the group. And I can tell them until, over and over again, but it happens every time. And they go, I thought I was signing up for this and I wanted to do this, but God did this. And it's like down like 5 levels deeper. And that's only something God can do. But you need those people to come into their lives at that moment that may be part of the group, that may be out. I think they need both that are inside and outside the group to help walk them through these changes and transformations and new awarenesses that are coming. And that's something I can't do. That is only something that God can do. And that it's only something that I believe happens through the power of prayer. Now, keep in mind, before all of this, I have what? The first P that we covered was purpose. I have that purpose already there. So I'm praying based on the purpose that I believe that God has given me, who is not only helping me identify who my people are, but it's also helping me identify what my people need if they're going to be completing this purpose and coming together for this purpose. Do you see how crucial these pre-steps are before we get to this step? Can you see how important each of these are that we build upon one another? So if we rush past one, we throw everything else off. I encourage people to camp out on any step that we come across just so they can get a better handle of it, just so they can feel comfortable about it before moving on to the next one. So yes, prayer, but then also connecting. And that was the other part of this, connecting with the people that we want in our group. Are we inviting? And I don't mean, like I said before, I don't mean just putting a blanket invitation out there on Facebook or even an email blast or whatever. Are we personally sitting down and having people come to mind that we want to sit and invite? Are we telling people that may not even be the perfect match for the group, but may know somebody who may be a great match for the group? Are we having those referral conversations? We covered referrals last month. So if you haven't gone back, you can check out that podcast about that. But really, it's about forming relationships, getting together with referral network relationships with people that may be doing similar things and maybe completing different things. And then you guys are coming into contact with people with similar needs that you could be passing around the different people that may have a better niche than you to take care of that person's need, to take care of those people's resources. So again, when you're putting something out there, you're praying, but then you're also really getting out there and networking with not only the types of people that you want in your group, but also with the types of people that would come across the people that you want in your group. So you're putting that awareness out there, and make sure when you're doing these invitations, especially when you're working with referrals, that it's going both ways. You're not just saying, hey, when you come across these people, make sure you send them my way. You're like, hey, what do you have coming up next? And how can I best support you? And how can I best walk with you? Because most likely you've got 2 ways of helping out in those situations. Most times you do, even if it's just giving them a space to pray and giving them a space to just listen, giving them a space to be and process and walk through this. And so just keep that in mind as you're making those connections, as you're praying, as you're making space for God to do what only He can do that you've got your purpose, that you've got your guidelines, and now's the spot where you get to connect and really pray for and come to mind those right people that'll be fit for your project and for your group right now. So hopefully this helps to give you a list so you can come up with names this week, exact names that you want to reach out to. You can come up with the types, like, you know exactly like the gender that you want in your group, or the ages that you want in your group, or the demographics of different people that you want in your group. You can start with that. Just start getting a list now. And a lot of times I try to come up with exact names, because I know if I get a name on there, I'll actually probably most likely maybe follow up, as opposed to a general idea. And so that could be a good starting point. If you're really hitting a blank, a great friend, Justin Janowski, reminded me, just go through your phone. I'm like, that's such a brilliant idea. Because a lot of times I don't think about all these names I have in my phone. And even if they're not the right fit, again, they might know somebody who is. And so get on a Zoom call with them, get on a virtual coffee, get on a real coffee. If you can, if they're within arm's reach, just get to know people, connect with people, see where their heart is, and see if they're a good fit for your group. And again, you can't start this the week that you're launching. You have to start this ahead of time. So again, this is again why the prep work is important. So we're so glad. I'm glad that you joined me for week 3. Can't wait to see what you're putting in your workbook this week. Can't wait to see the names and the connections that you've made, and cannot wait for you to be here for week 4. So we're getting there, guys. This is week 3. So we're on 3 of 7. So we're almost halfway through. So don't give up on me. You're doing a great job. Keep showing up, and cannot wait to see how God moves this week. So let me know. All right. Have a great week, guys. And I'll see you guys back here next week.